playing his second choice and Yudi's playing his first choice.
Okay. Good to know. Now we know that Yudi is here. So on the bottom right we have Yudi playing his UEF. And the top left Tagada as Aeon. Yeah, it's quite. I mean, you say it's quite BO heavy. The thing is, BO certainly helps, but with some of these max positions, I guess there's some timing that can optimize it properly.
I mean, to me, it's mostly because I remember when it was first made and I put it in some pools, I had a lot of people whining about it being a BO map. So that's why I'm saying it's a BO map.
I see.
Honestly, I have no real... It doesn't really have a lot of signs to me that it's a giant BO map. There's no, like, critical reclaim chunks. It's just, like, the classic, oh, this one is kind of being contested, so there's a lot of reclaim here. So you send engineers there when it's safe. There's nothing like super early on where it's like you reclaim this to cut out 2 pigeons at this point, and that gives you like the 30-second earlier bomber.
Yeah, the issue is that the more spread out the maxes are at the start, the more of a BO map it is. That's generally the way it works. And there's some exceptions about like having like 1k reclaim in your main base to really have a quick start and skill up, so you can skill mass a lot faster. But generally it's just a max spread. But on a map like this with like the 4 max locations, like they're not really spread out. Like you always go for these maxes, and it's like it's not that hard to defend against early raids either, as long as you make some land scouts. There's the big mountain ash plateau in front of you that will screw up bombers dropping as well.
You wanted to try so hard to do a T3 ACU drop on it, and you never did it.
No, because I played the map once and I died to Mantis.
There goes the nightmares again.
Luckily, they cost now a few mass more per Mantis, so they're worthless.
As I've heard.
So Tagada is a lot faster to the back for maxes than UD is.
UD spent more time reclaiming trees.
Yeah, Tagada did get a big rock, but UD spent more time breaking trees. I saw what you did there, buddy. Unacceptable behavior. So lands air, and then the rest lands for UD, and probably the same for Tagada. Tagada is the one that makes the bomber and the lab, so he is the one to be aggressive. UD does have his scouts to scout for the bomber, and actually has an inti, so the bomber shouldn't do any damage in theory. Some good micro.
Nope.
It should be able to. It should go for the main base. No, it's not okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh. If he microed there, I think he would have gotten it.
Wow.
Why did he expect there to be no drop there? It was very... Okay, the labs get shoot away by the ACU. He really needs to set some tanks to the right though, because the ACU is...
He very smartly did not lock his labs into the ACU.
Yes. But Judy knows they're there, so... he needs to send some extra units there. Okay, now he redirected them. So first bomber doesn't really pay off. Not a huge deal. Well, not the first bomber, but the first bomber. Not a huge deal, but certainly gave Tagada some depression. Okay, I guess the ASU cleans up the labs. No, the ASU kites away.
No, it got away.
It didn't get away. He let him get away. He left one on 15 HP, let him get away to tell him to finish the UEF at home.
Now they have no scout with them though. That's still good.
It's still a lot better, yeah.
He still chased him down.
I guess this one engineer is making the maxes. Okay, so I am imagining we will see quick tech 2 from UD, because the water can make ROAS quite obnoxious on this map. Although the water is in a bit of a ditch, so it's not as good, but it's still I'm kind of wrong about that. Water doesn't really make a rest that good, but it's
Yeah,
still.
I don't know how you're even gonna get into the water.
Yeah,
The only beach I see is behind the bases.
I mean the ponds in the middle.
Oh, those. Oh, my bad.
It's like if you're fighting there, then you can just retreat over the walls and they can follow you and just abuse the rest that way. But it's not that impactful, to be honest.
I think it'll be way more impactful with the blazes in the T2 stage because
Yeah.
like that gives Aeon a huge advantage that they can just walk blazes and shields through this without having to worry about clumps.
Unlike you, my blazes hover.
Okay, that took me a bit.
I'm sorry.
Getting what you said.
It was a very advanced joke.
I thought I said something wrong, and then I had to like replay the conversation in my head.
Okay. So both issues
got
actually go to the same side, but Tagada.
He's actually like 2 factories ahead.
Tagada stole most mass in the field. That's not true because Tagada built a factory next to his ACU. Only one.
Yeah, but Yuri's about to have his next to his AC. Well, not next to his AC.
Yeah, but Tagada also just finished one. So, okay. The thing is, early on, you can't be that aggressive. Like what Judy is doing now is not gonna work because Auroras will just get the value and make this an efficient SU fight for Tagada. He is sending some distraction tanks up top, but I think he's sending too many.
He's making... Oh, never mind. I understand.
Tagada knows about this. You actually get the PD up. So this is a bit of a blunder from UD. It's not a big one, but still suicides 4 units and loses like 1k more HP on the SU. Then he dealt damage. And yeah, that's it. Transport being made by Yudi. Nothing queued up for Tagada yet, so Yudi will be earlier on getting these corners. He doesn't have a PD at the bottom left either. So, because issues both ends right now, the left side there will be tech 1 battle, but it's Auroras, so although they're kind of suiciding in, but Yudi doesn't have good formation either, and he has less. And mostly arties, so these Auroras are not in much danger at all. So gun started for Tagada. Does he have the E? He does. So he can finish this in one go. Doesn't really have nice radars next to each other. No, that's sufficient. Yeah, I like Tagada's position here a lot more. It's just Yudi went for tried for some early battles, but I'd say he should have probably gone more into air versus this Aurora spam. But then again, UEF bombers are like the worst bombers versus, or like the second worst bombers versus Auroras, which kinda sucks. Get to pass ASU. Oh, it's... But the thing is, okay, there's Yudi's gun. I was about to say, he needs to start it. Did Yudi make Tech 2 maxes? He seems to be in a lot more income. Or is Tagada still stalling? He is, never mind, that's it. Reclaim wise, Tagada should be only a tiny bit. It's not that bad. I guess Yudi's getting the reclaim from this fight over here. Okay, Tagada went Tech 2 land. Yudi is still, okay, finally going Tech 2 land, but it's quite late to be honest. It's minute 8.5. He's still building so much power. And I think it's 33 P-gens. And the Hydra. Like this map doesn't have that much mass. Like he's stalling because he's doing this, but the moment his ASU upgrade finishes, then he doesn't need as much power. He should build an E-storage. That's what he needs. He's also stalling because he's building this much power. Oh my god, this hurts. Like he does need to rush it because this issue is coming. Tagada actually went only for 1 gun. I was thinking of him maybe doing that. And then, but because Yuri rushed his upgrade so quickly, it's actually gonna be bad for Tagada. Because he just has the normal DPS versus Yuri's. Okay, probably needs to cancel that, my man. Also needs to, yeah, focus units. Yeah, okay. He needs, imagine OC here, dude. Like, now he's overflung 500 E the moment he finishes. Like, he doesn't need this much power. But this is a big donation from Tagada. Missing that extra 100 DPS is so critical. So
I'm surprised. Oh, he's almost done with his T2 land. Okay, Yuri, that is.
yeah, it is very late. I agree. And he also massively look at the E income difference. Yuri's overflowing 400 E if he's not OCing. He's OCing the first blazes though. Tagada moved him to the only place on the map where they shouldn't be. Also, Tagada massively fucked up by only getting a singular gun upgrade. He didn't have intel to see that Yuri was rushing his upgrade. If Yuri didn't rush it as quick, it would have been fine, but Yuri rushed it so quick, so it's... Now SU needs to retreat from front and get the other upgrades.
Well, the extra E income will be great in this situation, because if he forces Tagada to retreat, he'll get Nano, and I think Nano will be more than enough to deal with a double gun ACU. And he's not going to have enough time to get shield to compensate for it.
Yeah, like, you should get a second upgrade, sure, but... Like, Yuri's also now building a Tech 2 Pigeon.
Like, okay, that's kind of...
That's the thing, like, you don't build as many Tech 1 power because you also built that Tech 2 Pigeon that you kind of need for shields anyway, right? But... Like, I was kind of fearing this would happen, and when he finishes this, he either needs to reclaim Tech 1 power or not have a second Pigeon for a very long time.
He is going mongoose.
Tagada is stalling 600 E, building his Tech 2 Pigeon while getting an ACU upgrade. He is doing the opposite. Tagada was only stalling because when I looked at his eco, at his E, he was getting the gun. I think he built enough Tech 1 power though, 31 Pigeons. I think maybe this Tech 2 Pigeon should have been faster. Because Tagada was a minute ahead on his Tech 2 power, but he finishes at the same time as Yuri, actually probably slower. That was the issue. But the entire bottom left is getting overrun though. Do I hear Riptides? I do. There's Riptides.
Was that a miss? It probably has to do with a misclick.
Yeah, he's making mongoose now. But Yuri is gonna get crushed in this fight. He can't engage here. He needs to. This looks terrible for Yuri. Although Yuri did secure both sides, so it's not as bad as you might. He's accidentally queued up 3 AAs. Yuri won both sides, so he has extra 6 maxes there.
Yeah.
Yuri...
Although, I mean, at this point, it's a lot about the reclaim fields more than the mexes. Oh, he's gonna lose the bottom. True. Is he gonna lose the bottom left?
I mean, he has an RT and a PD. I only see Auroras there.
Yeah, there's no tank. I mean, already in there.
Okay, he is actually ignoring it and going to drop at the back of Yuri. That's 4 max location. That has been dropped so many times.
Yuri's in a real pickle right there with his ACU. I am kind of concerned as to his ability to get out.
Yeah. No, he will get out, but he just won't have the units because he needs to send all his reinforcements.
How does he get out? That's a full HP ACU, and then there's T2 covering that's gonna cut off any reinforcements.
Well, there's water, but he kind of decided not to go for the water.
But if he goes into the water, he'll also... I mean, I guess the blazes weren't...
Yeah, also he's close to a vet. Don't forget he one-shots Aurora, so... I think he's still dead, yeah. Yeah, he's dead. Last OC at the count. I think that was a bit unnecessary, that said. I mean, of course it wasn't necessary, but... Like, it looks fucked because he lost the bottom, but he was actually pushing back because... He had a nice shield army with like 4 pillars and a few mongoose, and versus Auroras. Auroras suck against UEF Tech 2. And as long like when there's a critical mass of Tech 2, they just do nothing. They just melt away. And it was very close to that. I think if Yuri didn't push there, sure he was behind, but considering he had the corners, he also sniped the drop that was going for his back maxes, I think he would have been in an absolutely fine position. T2 max count is exactly the same. They both on only 1. It was just a bit of an unfortunate suicide. I think he should have stayed and gotten the nano instead of pushed there. I mean, not sure if he had the mass, but he certainly had the E. And if he didn't have the mass, then he should have recycled more factories or passed some. It's kind of sad that the game ends in such a way. It's a bit unnecessary.